When my HOA sent me a warning letter saying my Christmas lights were too bright, I laughed. Then they fined me $500. When I refused to take them down, they threatened legal action. So, I did what any normal dad with too much coffee and not enough patience would do. I made my house brighter. So bright, in fact, that it could probably be seen from space. But what started as a simple act of rebellion turned into a town-wide movement that no one, not even the HOA, could stop. Because when you try to steal Christmas spirit from an entire neighborhood, you light a fire you can't put out. It started with a letter. Just one folded piece of paper tucked into my mailbox, sealed with that stiff HOA logo that already made my blood pressure rise before I even opened it. Notice of violation, it said in bold. My crime? Your holiday decorations are excessive in brightness and create a disturbance in neighborhood harmony. I remember staring at that line and laughing, actually laughing out loud, because how could anyone see 10,000 little LED bulbs as a disturbance? For me, they were more than lights. They were hope. They were therapy. After a year full of loss, layoffs, and endless gray days, I needed color. I needed light. I needed to feel alive again. But apparently my HOA didn't agree. See, I live in Maplewood Estates, one of those quiet, perfect suburban communities that look peaceful from the outside but hide 1,000 little wars under white fences. And at the center of all those wars was Linda, our HOA president. She had the kind of smile that didn't reach her eyes, the kind of person who took genuine pride in measuring grass height and sending warning letters about unapproved mailbox paint. So when she saw my light show, synchronized with music, glowing Santas and reindeer leaping across my roof, I just knew she was sharpening her pencil. It all started 2 weeks before Christmas. I had spent days putting those lights up with my kids, Jake and Emma, laughing, drinking cocoa, arguing about where Santa should stand. It wasn't just decoration. It was our family rebuilding something we'd lost over the past year. That night, when we turned it all on, the street lit up like magic. People slowed their cars. Neighbors waved. Kids squealed with joy. Even strangers stopped to take pictures. For a few hours, the world outside didn't feel so heavy. Then came the letter. I thought about ignoring it. But then I saw the fine, $500, for joy, for lights, for hope. That night, as I sat at the kitchen table reading that letter again and again, I realized something. They weren't just trying to control me. They were trying to control happiness itself, and I wasn't going to let them, so I doubled the lights. I added a glowing archway, 2 illuminated nutcrackers, and a massive Merry Christmas banner that could probably be seen from Google Earth. My kids thought I'd lost my mind. "Dad, isn't that going to make them mad?" Jake asked. I smiled and said, "Good." The next evening, as soon as the sun went down, I hit the switch. The entire block exploded in color, red, green, gold, and blue. You could hear the synchronized Christmas music halfway down the street. People started gathering. Kids danced. Even old Mr. Bradley from 3 houses down brought his dog and clapped along. It was pure happiness. Until I saw Linda's silver SUV rolling slowly toward my driveway. She stepped out, clipboard in hand, looking like a mall cop on a mission. "Mr. Collins," she began, "you've been warned once already." I handed her a mug of hot cocoa. She didn't take it. "You're in violation of Section 9B, visual disturbances. You have 24 hours to remove all unapproved decorations." I took a sip from the cocoa she refused and said, "Linda, you can find me all you want, but you can't find Christmas spirit." Her eyes narrowed. This isn't over. She was right. It wasn't. The next morning, I woke up to see her walking door to door, clipboard in hand, talking to neighbors. I assumed she was gathering complaints. But when I went outside, my neighbor Joe waved at me. "Hey, Mark," he said, grinning. "Nice lights." I figured I'd join in. And there it was, a string of lights across his roof. Simple, but symbolic. By sunset, 3 more houses had joined. By the end of the week, our whole street glowed. Even people who'd never hung a single decoration before were suddenly stringing up lights. It was contagious, joy spreading faster than rules could stop it. The HOA sent another letter, this time with legal threats. Failure to comply may result in litigation. But the more they pushed, the more united we became. We started calling ourselves the Miracle Street. Then something unbelievable happened. The local news showed up. A reporter wanted to interview the homeowner who defied the HOA. They filmed the lights, the kids, the families laughing together. That segment went viral overnight. 2 million views in 24 hours. The headline read, "Small Town Fights Back Against HOA with Christmas Lights." By the weekend, cars lined up for blocks just to see our street. We set up donation boxes for local charities. We handed out cocoa and cookies. It wasn't just decoration anymore. It was a movement. That's when Linda escalated. She called the police. Said we were disturbing the peace. So 2 patrol cars rolled in one cold night, lights flashing, sirens echoing. Everyone went quiet. Kids froze. Music stopped. For a second, it felt like Christmas was over. Then one of the officers, a tall guy with a Santa hat tucked in his belt, walked over to me. "Evening, sir," he said. "We got a complaint from your HOA about excessive Christmas spirit." His partner smirked. I nodded. "Guess that's a crime now?" He grinned. "If it is, I'm guilty too." He walked over to the switch box and, I swear this happened, flipped the lights back on himself. The whole crowd cheered. People clapped. The music kicked in again, louder than before. And the cops? They stayed for cocoa. That night, our little street made national news. But Linda wasn't done. The next morning, she tried one final move. She called for an emergency HOA meeting. Her goal was to pass a new rule banning any and all decorative lighting visible from the street after 8 p.m. A handful of board members showed up, along with about 40 angry residents. I walked in with a folder full of printed emails and photos, proof of how much good this event had done for the community. I showed her the $12,000 we'd raised for charity. I showed her the hundreds of messages from people across the country thanking us for bringing joy back to Christmas. When she tried to interrupt me, I looked her straight in the eye and said, "Linda, this isn't about lights anymore. It's about control. You can't regulate happiness. You can't find goodwill." There was a pause. Then someone in the back clapped. Then another. Within seconds, the entire room erupted in applause. Even a few board members looked embarrassed. Linda's face went red. She stood up, slammed her clipboard shut, and stormed out. The next day, a new letter appeared in my mailbox. But this one was different. "Dear Mr. Collins, the HOA board has voted to suspend all fines related to holiday decorations for the remainder of the season. We wish you and your family a Merry Christmas." I pinned that letter to my fridge. By Christmas Eve, the entire town had joined in. Every house, every street, glowing, singing, alive. What started as one man refusing to take down his lights turned into a wave of unity. Even Linda showed up that night, quietly standing across the street, watching the glow reflect in her glasses. Then she walked up to me holding a small box. "Truce?" she said, smiling awkwardly. Inside was a cookie shaped like a Christmas tree. "Truce," I said. "Now, every December, Maplewood Estates becomes the Miracle Street. Thousands visit every year. There's cocoa, laughter, music, and not a single complaint letter in sight." Sometimes I look at the lights and think about that first letter. How something meant to silence joy ended up creating more of it than ever before. Maybe that's the thing about light. You can try to dim it, hide it, control it. But the more you fight it, the brighter it burns. So yeah, the HOA said my Christmas lights were too bright. But that's the funny thing about light. It only bothers people who prefer the dark.